everyone. Welcome back to the Flipside. I'm Sam.
I'm JT.
This right here is our top 5 games that have post-apocalyptic themes on them. So our top 5 post-apocalyptic games. We did a bottom 5 video on the Dice Tower just on Friday. And now we're going to finish that list off, doing our top 5 post-apocalyptic games right here, right now. What do you think?
Good games. Good theme. Like I said, I was looking through and I found way more in this theme that I thought of and wanted to play and enjoyed than I expected. We had one direct crossover, and then we had one direct spiritual crossover.
We've had 1.5 crossovers.
1.5 crossovers.
1.5 crossovers.
But a lot of good games for sure in this.
A lot of good games. I'm curious. You said you didn't think we were going to have enough.
I don't think we have any more.
Really?
No.
You're lying.
No, I honestly don't think we have any more.
You probably haven't played a couple of the ones that are on my top 5. But one
for sure. But there's one I think that, but I'm not sure if you would put it on there.
I don't know. We kind of mentioned it this way. It kind of depends upon what our definition of a post-apocalyptic game is and how much we want to stretch that definition. I think
they've all fit pretty darn good so far.
No, yeah, they've all fit pretty well. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. Numbers 5 to 1 coming up. All right, my number 5. Now, my number 5 is put out by a company called Catch Up Games, and I really enjoy this game. The only reason it is not my number 1 game is because I don't feel like it has as post-apocalyptic theme feel as a number 1 for this list should have.
All right, fair.
But it does have a post-apocalyptic theme. It's called After Us.
Yeah.
After Us is exactly what it sounds like. After we have died, the apes are taking over. So it's kind of like Planet of the Apes if it weren't an alternate dimension. This is like after we have all died off, the apes are around and they're picking up the dredges of our society and using them and growing with them.
Do you know how we died off?
Nope.
Oh.
Doesn't say. But it does say this. It happens in like 6 years.
2035.
It's like 2035 or something like that, man. I'm like, come on. That's really bad.
Man.
But anyway, I really enjoy this game. It does have Vincent Dutrait's artwork on it, so that's like a no-brainer for me. But the design is really cool. One of the coolest things about it for me is arranging your hand of cards so that all of those windows match up. And that's how you're getting your resources for that round. That's how you're getting some points by using some of those resources each round. And it also helps you attract new primates into your clan or whatever you want to call it, tribe, I guess you could call it. And so you do the same thing over and over and over again. It's very procedural in that way. And it's very kind of multiplayer solitaire-ish because there's not a whole lot of interaction. But I've just had so much fun playing this game in all player counts. I've played it with the solo mode all the way up to a full complement of 6 players, and it's been a great time every single time I've played it. Nice. So I just really enjoyed it. But it's my number 5 because I wanted my number 1 to have a little bit more of a post-apocalyptic feel to it. And this one doesn't really have that. It's a great game. It does have the theme, and it's a beautiful artwork. But it doesn't really feel like a post-apocalyptic game to me. So that's my number 5, After Us.
All right, number 4. My number 5 is definitely Almost After Us. That's what it should be called, Almost After Us. No, my number 5 is After the Zombies Have Taken Over.
Uh-oh.
That's definitely apocalyptic.
Yep.
And it's called Resident Evil.
Ooh.
Resident Evil, this game, and there's Resident Evil 3 and 2 are out. Obviously, they follow all of the video games. And
is this the one that you just got in that we did an unboxing of? Yeah.
a few months ago.
That's
Yep. But in Resident Evil, the board game, just like in the video games, like this is not a zombicide. This is not a horde shooter. This is a hope that one zombie that's chasing you doesn't kill you as you empty your clip into it. This is very much a survival horror theme, and it fits that extremely well to where you're running through, you have 8 rounds in your pistol. You shoot at a zombie. Hey, you hit it in the head, which isn't easy to do when you're running across the room. Knock him down. Before you can close the door, he stands back up and starts coming back at you. So you slam the door in his face, and you're in a room with 2 more. And your job is not to kill. I mean, I've had missions. I haven't played this a lot. I've played it 4 times. I've had missions where I haven't killed a zombie. Just getting through them.
Just running through.
Yeah, just getting through them as safely and as painfully as possible.
But I thought shooting them in the head is how you kill them.
Yeah, but
why
there's
does he get
always
back up?
a chance that he can get back up with a certain.
You missed his brain.
With a certain thing, yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is not a go through and knock down 50 zombies to win the scenario. This is very much survival horror.
It's not fun then.
No, this is super fun, super thematic. Yeah, it's on the other side of that. And when you roll your first 4 rounds that miss his head, you get super frustrated when you're half a clip out and you still haven't killed the darn thing. Then you don't know if you want to fire the 5th bullet or not. So
game over, man.
It's very true.
Game over.
It's very, very true. And in those 4 scenarios, I've only lost 1 of them. Although I might have cheated in 1.
Hey, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
But anyways, my number 5 is Resident Evil. Has a great atmosphere in that game.
That's cool. All right, my number 4, and here's where we will determine if we have a similar view of what post-apocalyptic could mean.
Here it goes. All the rest of mine are post-apocalyptic to the core.
Because this one is like, to me, I guess I don't know. It feels post-apocalyptic because...
You're going to put Marvel Zombies on there.
Negative. Negative.
I thought about it for 2 seconds.
No. This one is by Z-Man Games. And it is Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
No. Season 1, you're starting the apocalypse.
Yeah,
it's
but
pre-apocalyptic.
It already happened.
No.
It's happening.
It's happening.
Yeah, so
no, it's happening.
The apocalypse has happened.
No.
You're living through it.
We're not posting it yet.
I don't know. It felt really post to me after, especially if you get like
maybe
past
in December.
Past May, May or June.
It
seems pretty post-apocalyptic to me, man. That's how much I was willing to stretch my definition.
You're stretching the edge halfway through the game.
I think it fits. Just like the glass slipper fit. She had to kind of scrunch her toes up a little bit, but it fit. That's mine. I just think this is a great post-apocalyptic feeling game.
Well, it definitely has that feeling of, oh crap, it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it definitely has that feeling.
It happened. Like, it's happening on the first day. And now it already happened.
Now we have to decide.
Now we have to try to fix it.
What's the post part?
If you got to fix it, that means it already happened.
Oh, copy. That's a pretty good pick. That's a good pick. Obviously.
Season 1 is my favorite. Season 1 is my favorite. Season 2 is all right. Season 0, we didn't finish.
No, we did not.
Did you guys finish it?
No, not yet.
No.
We haven't even started ours.
So I think it's the way to play Pandemic.
Yes,
unfortunately,
sure.
It's legacy style, so you have to consume the game as you're going through it. But it's the way to play Pandemic. It's the way I think Pandemic should always be played.
Agreed.
Which isn't possible, but that's what it feels like.
You should have a stack of boxes.
Stack of
Play them over and over and over.
Throw out the old one.
All right.
That's my number 4, Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
Fair.
Changed my mind.
Fair. All right. My number 4 is a game called 51st State.
I knew this was going to be on your list.
You knew this was going to be on my list.
I knew Tamashi was going to be on your list.
This one's a shoe-in.
Yep.
You are in a post-apocalyptic world creating your 51st state. You're creating your community with all these worn-down buildings that you're repurposing and collecting guns and fuel, and that's what you do in after the apocalypse. You collect guns, you collect fuel. And you collect people with gas masks.
Yep.
That's all there is to it.
And the gas mask is important.
Yep. In this very, very tight engine builder. One of the coolest things in this one is, and I think I've mentioned it before in other videos, but one of the coolest things in this one is you can have combat and interaction between you and the other players. I can destroy a building of Sam's that he really loves.
Yep.
And when I do that, I get the resources off of the top corner of his, which is why I'm destroying it, not just for fun. But the cool thing is then it flips over for him, and it creates a building site that's much easier for him to build on later. So it's not a complete loss when people do that. So and that's a really cool mechanic.
That is a very cool mechanic. Yep.
But I really love 51st State. Ignacy Trevicek and Portal Games.
Well done.
Hit that one out of the park.
Yep, they certainly did. Well done, Sab.
So that was my only crossover if you were going to have that game, but I didn't think you were going to have that game in your top 10, but we will yet to see.
Out of these top 3, I think you may not have played 2 of them.
Yeah, there you go.
I know you've played the other one, and I think you may have already described why it's not on your list. Or maybe. My number 3 is a game that was put out by Pandasaurus Games, and it was one of the first games that Game Trays made the inserts for. That I experienced. Okay. Maybe they had done other games before then, but this was my introduction to Game Trays as a company of storage bins and whatnot. Mm-hmm. This is called Wasteland Express Delivery Service.
I'd like to play this game, but I haven't played it.
Yep, I didn't think you'd played it yet. Yep. I would bet my last dollar that this would be on your list if you had played it. It is that fun of a game. It's really just a pick up and deliver type of game, where you're going from one place to the other and you're picking things up and delivering them and picking up a job over here and delivering it. But there's also other types of goals in the game that you can accomplish, that everybody can accomplish at at different points throughout the game. Really, really fun. Visceral artwork. Very post-apocalyptic-y artwork. You might even say kind of a grungy feel to it, but it has great graphic design. Jonathan Gilmour did a great job.
That looks great.
With this one, it wasn't just him though. It was a collab with Ben. I want to say Pinchback. I can't remember their names.
I don't know how you remember all of that all the time. Every game.
I don't remember everything because my brain doesn't work that way. But anyway, great design, great production. The Game Trays storage inside the box holds everything so well. It's such a great design, great production value, and it's a really fun game. So it's not a short game, that's for sure, but it's very fun. So that's my number 3, Wasteland Express Delivery Service.
All right, my number 3 is where I saved the list, because in your number 4, you started the apocalypse. My number 4 is the actual post-apocalyptic portion, which is Pandemic Legacy Season 2, when you only know this much of the whole entire map.
That's
and
true.
It's time to expand out and find out what's going on and find the last shelters and other things.
I hated that mechanism of Season 2.
I agree. I'm not saying it was as good as Season 1. I thought the game was really darn fun, but Season 1's the better game overall, or it's the more pandemic-y game. Sure. It pushed quite a ways away from the pandemic deal for 2 for a while, but it had a very cool theme of going out and re-exploring the map and finding out what happened. So
See, I'm counting this as a crossover.
there you go.
I'm counting this as a crossover.
I think that's fair.
Because, the only thing that the main reason why I don't like Season 2 over Season 1 is because of that you don't know what's happening, and you have to kind of discover the different parts of the world and what's happening in those parts of the world. It's very thematic.
Yeah, very thematic.
But gameplay-wise, it was very frustrating.
It held a different. Obviously it reversed pandemic to you. It really did. So.
It did. All right, good pick. Good pick. That's a crossover. We're counting it.
Perfect.
All right, my number 2, and I don't know if you've played this game.
Okay.
It's by Plaid Hat. Zombies.
Well, I know some games by Plaid Hat that have zombies in them.
This one's called Dead of Winter, a Crossroads game. And the Crossroads mechanism is one of the main reasons why this is still so freaking relevant, for me at least, as a zombies game.
Sure.
Dead of Winter, to me, it feels like The Walking Dead without the Walking Dead IP.
Sure.
Because it
makes sense.
has all of those trope-ish characters that the Walking Dead has, but it just doesn't have that IP. And I think it's a better Walking Dead game than most of the Walking Dead games that got made.
Yeah, for sure. Didn't it come out before The Walking Dead?
It did.
Okay.
It did. But
The Walking Dead's the ripoff.
Why didn't they make another version of the game with Walking
Dead?
If
they'd have made that'd have been sweet.
That would have
been
sold
really
like
sweet.
Hotcakes.
Man.
I would have loved to do that. Now, instead, they went in some random offshoot version with a couple of their expansions, and those expansions were not as good as the base game, in my opinion. I enjoyed A Long Night. Then they went into that thing where they made it all about that
Teams.
What was it called?
Well, it's a Teams one. I can't think of what it's called.
Not
but
Teams, but it was the one where it was that evil corporation in their universe that was kind of at the foot of the entire zombie apocalypse. And they had another one.
I don't recall that.
The name of the game is called Raxxon, Raxxon.
Yeah.
And that's also, I believe, the name of the company.
For Umbrella.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. It was like, this is your Wish app version of the Umbrella Corporation. Anyway, so I wasn't too enthralled with how they took the game, but the base game is so much fun. The Crossroads system is such a great mechanism.
Agreed.
For storytelling and for getting things done and events and all of that kind of stuff. Such a great game. Such a great game. Really enjoyed it. That's my number 2, Dead of Winter, a Crossroads game.
All right. Well, I was wrong again because my number 2 is Dead of Winter, a Crossroads game.
Yeah.
Dead of Winter is a great game.
Oh,
I honestly
couldn't
remember if you liked it that much or not. I almost thought it would be lower in your list, but Dead of Winter is a great game. I absolutely love this game.
Yeah.
And this is the quintessential zombie. Like you said, you got to go to the grocery store to scrounge up food. And I like the fact, honestly, asymmetric or not asymmetric, but the possible semi-co-op.
Yes.
Where I need to hoard some food because I'm worried about my family and my people, so I got to hoard food, but I got to give food in so we can eat enough this week or whatever. And
so the colony doesn't get overrun.
Yeah, yeah. So all of those kind of things. It's just very thematic, very fun. Just a great game.
Agreed.
Everything you said.
Good number 2.
My number 1, I guarantee you don't have.
And my number 1, I think you got rid of.
Okay. Fair.
My number 1 is a Zombicide game, but it is Zombicide Black Plague.
I don't know if this is post-apocalyptic, is it?
The Black Plague, I think, is apocalyptic.
Well, that's true.
How many people
died?
died?
Every Zombicide
is
apocalyptic.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I get it. why couldn't you have picked Zombicide, the original one? That is definitely post-apocalyptic.
Yep.
Because I don't like that one.
Black Plague's better.
Black Plague's a better game. That's why. Why couldn't you put Marvel Zombies? I actually kind of like Marvel Zombies better than Black Plague, but I don't think Marvel Zombies has that post-apocalyptic feel to it.
So me and Mel had this conversation.
Really?
I was like, should I put on one of these Black Plague or should I put on Marvel Zombies? I actually think, because Marvel Zombies to me feels more now time. I know we don't have superheroes, but you got shield agents and all that kind of stuff. So, and I was like, well, it feels like more of a now time apocalypse, but it never really says apocalypse has to happen after 2020. It could happen. It could happen in the cowboy age. It could happen in the any of that kind of thing. So I think that's a good. I think any one of those would have fit. She told me that superheroes weren't real, so I couldn't put it in there.
Neither are zombies. Oh gosh. So superhero zombies are super not real.
That's super not real.
Yeah. No, I get it. No, I struggled with whether or not I was going to put Zombicide on there, but zombies in and of themselves, I think, is an apocalyptic thing.
Yep.
If we had a whole bunch of dead people walking around, that's apocalyptic to me.
Yep.
So I think Zombicide Black Plague fits. I think any, except for maybe the Space Invader one, the Zombicide Invader. I don't think that one would have fit. That's a science fiction type thing.
Sure.
But I think any of the Zombicides would fit. Black Plague, I think, is the one that fits maybe a little bit better.
Okay.
But that's just my number one, Zombicide Black Plague.
That's fair. Yeah, so the way I think I got away from not putting a Zombicide on there was by having Resident Evil on there, because it's that same zombie apocalypse.
Yep. Well, I also didn't want to put a ton of zombie games on here because I think zombies is its own genre. But I think Dead of Winter and Zombicide have a more apocalyptic feel than just any zombie game.
Yep, agreed. All right, well, that was a good number one.
Yeah,
my number one is a game from Aporta Games, and it is a Euro game. And this would have the same kind of apocalyptic kind of setting as You're After Us or something like that. This is Revive. In Revive, No, you haven't played this game. It's amazing.
No, that was a real cough. I'm sorry. That wasn't
In Revive, the world has been destroyed. It's iced over. And now you're taking your group, and you start out with this little tiny land plot where everybody basically emerges back onto the frozen surface and starts to re-explore. Starts to, to place houses and buildings and starts to send people out. It's got tech tracks and all those kind of Euro-y things.
This is a good game.
But mechanically, primo.
Yep. I remember really enjoying this game.
Yeah,
I really do.
Primo.
It's one of the ones that I wrote down, but I just didn't have the experience with it to include it on the list.
This game I really love, and it completely fits that. The world's been destroyed, and now you're going to re-explore it. So.
Yep, I agree. That's a good pick, man. That's a good pick.
What about any? So a couple of things on the other side of that. I did actually write down Marvel Zombies because I was going to bring that point up, whether or not you put a Zombicide on there. I thought you might. One game in there that I really, really, really want to play that I haven't played is called Frostpunk. I've played the video game. I've played the video game a bunch, but I have not played the board game, and I would love to play it to see how it fits. Frostpunk, the world is frozen over, and you basically collect this little tiny colony around this massive furnace, basically, and it's just the heat of that furnace that's keeping you alive, but you have to go out in the snow and get wood and all these kind of things and building materials to build your colony and to make your furnace bigger and expand the heat, and that's really cool. And there was a game that wasn't in there, wasn't in the post-apocalyptic thing in BGG, called This War of Mine.
Yeah. And
again, This War of Mine, I've played the video game a bunch, but I've never played the board game. But that definitely fits this theme.
Tom played This War of Mine. I believe he's the one that did the review for it in the Dice Tower back in the day. and he said that it was a really good game.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was a really good game. Some of the decisions that you have to make in that game are like super
Hard.
gut-wrenching.
Yep. Yeah, gut-wrenching is the right word.
Yeah.
The video game's like that, too.
Yeah.
I honestly think it's probably could be better as a board game.
Really?
Yeah, because it's more impactful and it's more in the moment, right? In a video game, you're still moving around and doing video game things, where in a board game, you can kind of absorb those decisions a little bit more, too. So I can imagine both of those games have to be really good.
Yeah, I imagine they are. All right. Well, that is our top 5 post-apocalyptic games. You can check out our numbers 10 through 6 over on the Dice Tower with our bottom 5 post-apocalyptic games. And you can probably get there with a link that's in the description of this video. So, let us know in the comments, what are your top 5 post-apocalyptic games? Maybe you don't have 5. Let us know what your top 1 is. Top 1, 2, or 3, whatever you want to do. Until next time, though, we'll see you guys and gals on the flip side.
Take care.
See ya.